Tycho Brahe's death curse. Let's start with a spooky 16th century coincidence involving the famous astronomer Tycho Brahe. In 1601, Brahe, a Danish nobleman known for his precise star charts, died suddenly in Prague after attending a banquet. The official story? He died of a ruptured bladder because he was too polite to leave the table to use the bathroom. But here's where it gets weird. The same banquet was attended by a young Johannes Kepler, Brahe's assistant. Kepler would later use Brahe's data to revolutionize astronomy, but this was no coincidence. Years later, historians have suggested that Brahe's death may not have been an accident. Analysis of his remains in the 1990s revealed high levels of mercury, consistent with poisoning. And here's the thing. In 1572, Brahe observed a supernova, a star exploding in the sky, and called it a new star. That same year, a mysterious man named Tycho, not Brahe, was executed in Denmark for poisoning a nobleman. Two Tychos involved in poisonings in the same era. And does Brahe's death resonate with the crime? The universe was definitely sending some signals here. Violet Jessop's triple shipwreck survival. Next, we'll talk about Violet Jessop, a woman who seemed to have a front-row seat to maritime disasters. Violet was a stewardess in the early 20th century, working on three of the most famous ships of her time: the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. In 1911, she was aboard the Olympic when it collided with a warship but stayed afloat. In 1912, she survived the sinking of the Titanic by escaping in a lifeboat. Then, in 1916, she was aboard the Britannic, a hospital ship, when it struck a mine and sank in the Mediterranean. Violet survived again, floating at sea until she was rescued. 3 ships, 3 disasters, 1 woman who survived all of them? The odds are astronomical. Violet wasn't just lucky. She seemed to be the universe's chosen one to survive. Was she fate, or was she just a freak accident? You decide. The two Thomas Jeffersons of 1776. Here's a coincidence that feels as if history had pressed the copy and paste button. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson, the future president of the United States, was drafting the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, in a small town in Virginia, another Thomas Jefferson, no relation, was born on the very day the Declaration was adopted, July 4th, 1776. Both men were named Thomas Jefferson, both lived in Virginia, and both had a knack for leadership. The lesser-known Jefferson became a prominent local judge and militia leader, even serving in the Virginia legislature. But it gets even stranger. Both Jeffersons owned land in Albemarle County, Virginia, and both were associated with revolutionary ideals. The judge died in 1832, just 6 years after the president's death. Yes, on July 4th, 1826. Two Thomas Jeffersons, born on or associated with the same historical date, living parallel lives in the same state. It's like the universe trolled the history books. Prediction of the Great Fire of London. Fast forward to 1666, when London was hit by the Great Fire, which burned for 4 days, destroying much of the city. Now for the scariest part. Years earlier, in 1651, a mystic named William Lilly had published a book of prophecies with an eerie drawing of flames engulfing London, dated 1666. Lilly wasn't just a random fortune teller. He was a respected astrologer. His prediction seemed to pinpoint the year of the fire. But wait, that's not all. In 1665, a comet appeared over London, and some took it as a bad omen. Then, at 2 a.m. on September 2nd, 1666, a fire broke out. And notice the numbers in the date, February 9th, 1666, add up to 18, and 1 plus 8 equals 9, a number that some mystics associate with destruction. Was Lilly's prediction a lucky guess, or was he tapping into something cosmic? It still gives me goosebumps. The stranger who saved Churchill's life. Let's talk about a coincidence involving Winston Churchill, Britain's legendary wartime leader. In the 1890s, a young Churchill served as a soldier in South Africa during the Boer War. He was once captured by Boer troops, but managed to escape. Confused and desperate, he knocked on a random door of a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere begging for help. The man who answered? A British sympathizer named John Howard, who hid Churchill and helped him get to safety. And here's the most amazing thing. Years later, during World War II, Churchill learned that Howard's son, also named John, was a pilot who again saved Churchill's life by shooting down a German plane that was targeting his plane. Two men, father and son, saving the same world leader decades apart, in completely unrelated incidents. The odds are incredible. Did this fate ensure Churchill's survival as Britain's leader, or was it simply the most astonishing plot twist in the universe? The similar deaths of the Ebbin brothers. Let's go to Bermuda, where a chilling story took place. In July 1973, 17-year-old Neville Ebbin was riding a motorcycle through the streets of Hamilton when he was hit by a taxi and killed. Tragedy, but that's not all. Exactly 1 year later, in July 1974, Neville's brother, Erskine Ebbin, also 17, was riding the same motorcycle down the same street in Hamilton. And what do you think? He was hit by a taxi, the same taxi with the same driver as the year before. Moreover, the taxi had the same passenger who was there in the first accident. Two brothers, identical deaths, 1 year apart, the same vehicle and circumstances? It's as if the universe had written a horror script. The Greenberry Hill murder. Finally, a story from 17th century London that reads like a detective story. In 1678, the respected judge, Sir Edmund Barry Godfrey, disappeared. A few days later, his body was found in a ditch on Greenberry Hill, now part of Primrose Hill. He had been strangled and stabbed with his own sword. The murder became a huge scandal, as Godfrey had recently been taking evidence about the so-called Popish Rebellion, an alleged Catholic plot to assassinate King Charles II. Many believe that the Catholics had gotten rid of the judge so that he would not reveal their plans. After investigation, 3 men were arrested: Robert Greene, Henry Barry, and Lawrence Hill. All were found guilty and executed. Now, pay attention. The victim's middle name is Barry. He was found on Greenberry Hill, and the killers are Greene, Barry, and Hill. The names match the crime scene perfectly. Is this a coincidence or some kind of creepy cosmic joke? These coincidences, Tycho Brahe's poisoned fate, Violet Jessop's survival, the two Jeffersons, Lily's prophecy, Churchill's rescue, the Ebbins tragedy, and the Greenberry Hill murder, are so crazy that they make you wonder, is this just a coincidence, or is the universe hinting at something? Maybe it's the law of large numbers, or maybe history has a secret script that will never unravel. What do you think? Fate, luck, or something more sinister? If these stories blew your mind, write in the comments. Tell us which one you liked the most, or write part 2 if you want more crazy coincidences. History is full of them. Like, subscribe, and watch the video on the screen. There's another wild historical story. We have a lot of content for you, history fans. Thanks for watching, and let's continue to solve the strangest mysteries of the universe.